Hello guys, welcome to chapter 1, Introduction to Research part 2. In our previous video, we have discussed about the introductory part relating to research methodology, and we explained how information is absolutely essential in order to clear uncertainty in research. We discussed about what is research, the definition of research, as well as the objective and motivation behind doing a research. In today's video, we will be discussing on the scientific research and the difference between the scientific research and management research. Together with that, we will also be explaining you the concept relating to the traditional research versus modern research. So let's discuss about the difference between a scientific research and a management research. Now, if you check the classification, management research can be classified under 4 different heads. So let's concentrate on what do you mean by the term scientific research. Now, research which employs scientific methods, like which has well-defined objective and methods, generates dependable data, reliable and unambiguous findings and justified conclusion. Now, what it means? See, it is basically a systematic investigation of scientific theories and hypotheses. Such methods allow scientists to conduct or to construct questions about observed phenomena, conduct experiments and analyze results. Now, in scientific research, one has to understand that it is undertaken to increase the stock of knowledge, including the knowledge of humans, culture, and society, and the use of such knowledge to devise new application. So what can be an example to this? Let's take the current scenario into consideration. With the COVID, which is spreading everywhere, there's a need for a vaccine. Now, there are ample amount of scientific research which is happening with respect to bringing a particular vaccine in the market within a short span of time. So this is completely a new stock of knowledge, because this particular disease or virus is first time this world is facing. And for that reason, they require to understand what the problem is and to understand the basic knowledge, to gather the basic knowledge relating to that particular virus. And you just cannot bring that particular vaccine into the market. It has to be applied to human. You require to understand what kind of impact it might happen to human being once you have given that particular vaccine. So knowledge of human, culture and society, and also the use of this particular knowledge to devise some new application. This is what is termed as a scientific research. The goal of scientific research is to discover laws and to postulate theories that can explain natural or social phenomena. So you can understand the kind of situation we are in. Or in other words, it builds a scientific knowledge. Now, it is important to understand that this knowledge may be imperfect, or even it can be quite far from the real truth. Say a vaccine comes into the market, whether that particular vaccine is going to click, whether that particular vaccine is going to address to the problems which people are facing today, we are not very sure about. So a scientific method can be based on certain description, certain prediction. Everybody is predicting that the vaccine works, an explanation to the theory, and some control mechanism. Now, there are 2 basic types of research under scientific methods. One, we term it as a qualitative research. Another, we term it as a quantitative research. Now, what is a qualitative? Qualitative research is moral behavioral research. Rather, quantitative research is statistical research where numeric data are there. We will discuss about qualitative research and quantitative research in our next video under the head, the types of research. Now, depending on the purpose of scientific research can also be grouped under 3 ways or 3 types. One, we say exploratory research, descriptive research, and explanatory research, which we are going to discuss. On the other side, management research can be classified under 4 different heads. Now, first we have to understand what is management research. The management research is said to be an applied research directed to aid the manager in his decision making and in understanding the decision making process. Now we are already aware of the fact that why it's what do you mean by the term applied research? And applied research means it has real commercial application, practical application. We can put that particular research into real life purpose in order to generate or gain certain business processes. Now it's been classified under 4 heads. Now management research is also a systematic inquiry that helps to solve business problems and to contribute management knowledge. The objective is to resolve complex and practical management problems which normally an industry or an organization might face. So management research can be in the area of maybe general management, can be in the area of leadership, operations, supply chain, accounting practices. It can be something related to business ethics, governance and standards, even decision science. It can be also from a specialized area like from the point of view of sales and marketing, human resource management, capital and derivative markets, the stock market, and even it can be maybe something like allied areas like politics and others. So it's been further classified under 4 heads. One is reporting, descriptive research, explanatory research, and predictive research. Now what is reporting? The type of research consists of furnishing data, information, or statistics. It may involve considerable skill in obtaining the data from sources, abstracting the information from it, and evaluating the information thus obtained. So what it means? See, reporting means to say, for example, all undergraduate and postgraduate students and even research scholars who are doing PhD, at the end of the day, you require to submit a report. The management research which you will be doing on a certain topic, you will be first collecting certain data. So furnishing data, that collection of data with reference to certain information, you apply certain statistical tools, and you, after applying certain statistical tools, you finally evaluate certain amount of information and you report. So it talks about that, say for example, if you are doing a undergraduate or postgraduate students doing a research project, the sample size might be somewhere around say 100, 150 to 250. But someone who is doing a PhD might be a research scholar who has a huge sample size. So there is a problem of gathering this particular data, furnishing this data, this information, and using proper statistical tools, and to bring out certain interpretation of this entire analysis and to report that particular analysis. So reporting is one of the most important concepts in management analysis or research. The next part is descriptive research. Now from the word itself, it says descriptive. It describes a single event, a niche event, a specific event, or characteristics, or relates to an event or a variable through statistical analysis. Now the major objective of descriptive research is basically talking from the point of view of a single event, a specific event, something like a market characteristics with reference to a particular product, or maybe a company looking forward to understand the frequency of shopping of a particular product or else in a retail store. Now it can be via observation, mail, or via personal interview, from where we normally collect the data, more qualitative in nature. So to finding out maybe the character of a relevant group or a cluster, a group of customers, or something like a character of salespeople of a particular group, very specific in nature, of a particular group, salespeople, offline or online salespeople. If it's an offline salespeople, I'm talking of franchisee sales, or else I'm talking of, okay, standalone store sales, and the behavior of the salespeople, the performance of the salespeople. So we are very, very specific relating to a single event or a characteristics. This is what is termed as a descriptive research. The third part talks about explanatory research. Now, before explaining explanatory research, I will highlight one more important point which talks about exploratory research. Now, what is exploratory research? Exploratory, E-X-P-L-O-R-A-T-O-R. Exploratory research talks about that the primary research, or it can be termed as a preliminary research, to clarify the extent, nature of problem which required to be solved. So if you remember, when we were discussing about the definition of research or what is research, we talked about the major point we said, identifying the problem. So an exploratory research talks about identification of the problem, why we are doing that particular research. So there has to be a research problem. That is the reason why we are addressing that. Next comes is explanatory research. Explains how and why of the phenomenon through an hypothesis or theory. Now what it means. Now an exploratory research is conducted for a problem which we already have identified in exploratory research. So in an explanatory research, we are basically already have identified a problem which was not well researched before, demands priorities, generate operational definitions, and provide a better research model. Now, what I mean by saying this, I said that the problem which was not well registered before. See, for the first case, you have done an exploratory research in understanding what is the problem which you are going to address. That was exploratory. Then comes the explanatory research, where you try to find out the research gap. It's being said that which was not well researched before and demands certain priorities. So which was not researched before, in the sense, I can just give you an example. Now there has been a research with respect to, say, for example, food brands, branded agri-food products, cereals and pulses. Now there has been many study which has been done with respect to consumer behavior on buying agri-food products, branded agri-food products, with reference to metro versus non-metro. Consumers staying in metro, consumers staying in a non-metro city, and their buying preference and buying habits. And it was concluded that metro people, respondents, consumers who normally stay in metro city, they normally prefer to go for branded agri-food products. So I have searched over a lot many literature and found that this was the study which was done, and conclusion was given that metro people were more interested in buying, or the propensity of to consume is more in metro people staying in the metro city, or respondents staying in the metro city. Now the next part of the research, I can easily identify a gap, that there was no further study done with respect to, do age group matters within the respondent who stays in metro city? Is it that the income, the family income they earn, do that matters with respect to buying of branded agri-food products? So what happens in explanatory research, we try to find out the research gap. It is actually a type of research design which focuses on explaining the aspect of one's study in a detailed manner. It focuses on explaining the aspect of your study. So explanatory research is the initial research into a hypothesis and a theoretical idea. And as mentioned, if I have to go for a research gap, if I have to find certain research gap in existing literature, I require to go for a literature review to find out all allied files of what they have found out, what those literature are saying, and then to identify the research gap as per the explanatory research. Or else I can apply certain focus group technique. I bring certain consumers into the picture and ask them certain relevant question and ask them to discuss on it, and I take relevant notes. Or else something like a case study analysis. The next part is the predictive analysis. Now, predictive analysis refers to that it constructs and uses models to forecast the occurrence of an event or events. Now, the word has been mentioned as forecast. Predictive, predicting, so something related to future. So that is the reason why we use models to forecast. Prediction of behavior of consumers, predicting the buying pattern, the buying intention. Prediction of sales in winter. So something related to future, predicting the share price in coming next year. What will be the share price? Shall I invest in that particular share or not? So these all are major part of exploratory research, or we talk about management research. Now let's move on with the next concept, which talks about the difference between traditional research versus modern research. Now this is a very important concept, and this is but the last part of this particular chapter. Now we all do understand that collecting information is absolutely important. So earlier, what used to happen in traditional research earlier, we would require to build a questionnaire. We go into the field to do a survey, collect few data, analyze and interpret this data. But if you take today's scenario into consideration, the scope has immensely grown up. Today, with the connection of technology, what has happened is the scope of collecting the data has grown tremendously. Today, you are getting millions of data from the social media, and you can get data from the stored levels also. These data can be easily analyzed using certain statistical software for decision making. In today's era, research has been added with a concept known as big data analysis, and we also talked about predictive analysis. Big data means big, large data. So that's what I was saying. Even a PhD research scholar might be working with a sample data of maybe, you can work with somewhere on 350 to 400 data, or else you can take something like 750,000 data, but not more than that. It's not feasibly possible. But if you take some retail companies into consideration who are doing a research, they're collecting such huge volume of data. So big data means large data set. So to pioneer, there are 3 companies who have created this buzz about this big data. We'll talk about this big data analysis today. There are big data analysis courses also coming up. The 3 companies are pioneerly Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Now, when performing a search on Google, or you are commenting something on Facebook, or liking something on Facebook, or else you are giving a review somewhere, even if you are purchasing something in Flipkart, or you might be that you might have signed up for a Netflix, or even an email to a customer care company, or booking something, a ticket at yatra.com, going to a bank or to an insurance company, and or else something like a downloading an app in your mobile phone and sharing all personal data. You allow access to your gallery, you allow access to your personal details. So companies today, extremely large data sets that may be analyzed. The companies are collecting such, may be analyzed. Now this cannot be analyzed manually. So computers has to be used. And we try to find out, we try to reveal patterns, trends, association in relation to human behavior and interactions. So we talked about one part. One was big data analysis, how social media is taking a very important part, and something like a predictive analysis. It concerns with forecasting future events or behavior, the assessment of variables at one point in time so as to predict a phenomenon assessed at a later point. You might have heard something like time series analysis, regression. Based on my past sales, last 10 years sales figure you have. So can we predict the sales of 2021 and 2022? So predictive analysis use certain statistical tools or techniques. You might have heard something like data modeling, machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning algorithms, data mining, and these are mostly the current topics nowadays. In which sector you can see predictive analysis? Retailing, health sector, insurance sector, weather forecasting. You can also find in financial modeling like share price estimation, social media analysis, risk assessment, etc. Now, predictive analysis, you will find, maybe say for example, when talk from the point of view risk analysis, you are aware of there is a term known as credit score. So if you have a very strong credit score, you might find that there are a many number of companies, banks, financial institutions who are calling you up in your mobile phone that they are willing to give you a personal loan or a term loan. So because this mortgage company has a list of good loan candidates or loan customers, Amazon predicts new customers product interest based on your past behavior. Now please understand, there's a concept known as remarketing. I've gone to Amazon or Flipkart, I've checked on few products, but I haven't buy. I might have saved those products in my chart, shopping cart, but I haven't purchased those. Immediately I move into Facebook, maybe surfing Facebook, I find such kind of advertisement coming up. Or else a reminder comes in my mail ID that there are few you haven't completed the purchase of certain products. So these are mostly remarketing strategies which the company does with reference to predictive analysis. Now, structured data, unstructured data. Now you can understand the amount, the search which is happening in Google, or you are writing something in Facebook, you are writing a review somewhere, or going into a page of that particular company and passing on certain comments, or you might be liking others' picture. You are giving various unstructured data. Because social network creates unstructured data. The flow of information from participants are free. That is the reason it says unstructured. And it is important, and it is was not possible under traditional research to capture such data. And this is possible in modern research via big data analysis, via predictive analysis. So I hope you have understood the basic concept of introduction to research. In the next video, we will move on with the next chapter, which is type of research. Till then,